I hope that you're well and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. Today we'll be doing our grade 5 English lesson on prefixes and suffixes. And before we start, we're going to log on to aplusstudents.ca. Once you've logged on to aplusstudents.ca with our username, as well as our password, and then we're going to select the subject of English language arts. We're doing grade 5. And then we will scroll down up until we get to our chapter of prefixes and suffixes. All right, so our chapter is prefixes and suffixes. Our subject is English language arts. We're doing grade 5. And the lessons that we are going to be focusing on under the chapter of prefixes and suffixes, it's words with pre, words with re, and also words with sub. So when it comes to prefixes and suffixes, right? A prefix can be added to the beginning of a base word to create a new word. So we're doing prefixes and we're doing suffixes, right? So you basically have your base word, and a base word is a word that can stand on its own. So basically we have a word, a base word or the root word is the word that can stand on its own. And then with the word that can stand on its own, we then add either a word or a few letters at the beginning of that base word to create a new word, and we call that the prefix. And if you add a word at the end of that base word, right, to create a new word, and then we call that suffixes. And we say that a prefix specifically is a word that is added to the beginning of a base word, and that is basically to create a new word. So basically, depending on, let's say, the prefix, each specific prefix, they will have its own meaning when added, or they'll create a new meaning or new word when added to the base word. And knowing the meaning of a prefix, that can basically help you to determine the meaning of a new word. All right. So firstly, we're going to start with the first word sorry. And if we were to remember, we said that if we add a word, let's say, to the beginning of a base word, and then it creates a new word, right? And knowing the meaning of that word can help you determine the meaning of the new word, right? So we have pre. Pre is our prefix, and the meaning of basically the what the definition of pre, or the meaning of pre, is before. So the prefix, which is the first one, that prefix pre, it means before. So now we are going to look at a few base words, right, where we can add the prefix, which means before, and then we can see how the word changes. And if we look at the prefixes, right, so if we look at the prefixes, which is, oopsie, which is pre, Then if you look at a few words pre, then we have preheat. Preheat. And when we say you need to preheat something, if you look at the word pre, it means before, right? So which means that you need to heat something before I officially use it. Maybe like an electric blanket. Preheat the bed. I don't even know if that makes sense. Preheat the bed or preheat the oven. Meaning, if I am baking either cake or muffins or something, then you need to preheat. You need to put your oven before you officially start. So while you're still preparing, that is the time that you switch on the stove or the oven. You're preheating it. So we said knowing the meaning of a word can help to determine the meaning of a word. And we said prefix pre, it means before. And here we have a word preheat. And we said preheat, it means that you need to heat something before you officially use it. If you look at another word, right, that basically is added to the beginning of that new word, then pre-made. Pre-made. So pre means before. So this item was pre-made. So pre-made. Anything that was done before. So that word pre, it means a before. So we have pre-made, and we see this is something that is made before the time. Prevent. We have prevent. Then we have pre. So we have prevent. And remember, pre means before. And if we were to look at another word with pre, all right. So this is but a few examples, right, of prefixes with the word pre. And we said prefixes with the word pre, it means before. So we said we have preheat. It's something that you heat before, switch on the kettle before the person preheat the oven, sorry. Then if example, switch on the oven before the person, let's say, puts in the dough mixture or something. All right. Now we have another prefix, and the next prefix is re. And this prefix re, I'm going to do this. Re, it means again. If I were to say, oh, I couldn't hear you, please resend that voice note. And we say that re, it means again. And if we look at a few examples of the word re, remember re means again. So if we were to rewrite something, so rewrite, remember we said that we add the this word, right, the prefix before the base word, and re is our prefix. So re, right. If you were to rewrite something, you write it over again. That is rewriting something. So rewrite, it's to write something again. If we were to rethink about something, so we rewrite something, meaning we write it again. If you rethink something, and rethink, it's like where you have to think about something again. And then we have reword. So we basically have the word pre And pre means before, and then we have a few examples, which is preheat. It's like when you heat something before I start cooking, or before I start baking, or before you have to do something in the oven. So now you need to preheat the oven to a certain degree. Pre-made, it's also where you have to make something. It's like we make something before. And prevent is basically just before something bad happens. And then lastly, we have the prefix, which is sub. And the meaning of sub either means below, and the sub, right? The word sub, or let's say the prefix sub, it means below. So sub means below, or we can say it is less than. And if we were to look at a few words or a few example of the word sub, and if we look at the very first word, right, they say prefix sub either means under, below, or it means less than, right? That is the prefix sub. But now if we look at a few words, right, and if you look at the first word, then submarine. So we have submarine. And you know what a submarine is, something that goes underwater. So something that goes underwater, and there we have the word sub means either below, it means less than, or it means under. So a submarine is something that goes under the water. So submarine, it either means something about under. So we have submarine. Then we also have subtitle, right? So these are basically the three words, with the prefix, pre, with the prefix re, and with the prefix sub. And if we look at all three of those words, right, then knowing the meaning of that prefixes, it can help you to determine the meaning of that word. All right. And once again, the prefix sub, it either means under, it means below, or it means less than. All right. So we have sub, which means below, under, or less than, pre, which means before, and re, which means against. And remember, knowing the meaning of a prefix can help you to determine the meaning of a word. All right, so now we're going to aplusstudents.ca, and we're going with words with pre, words with re, and words with sub. All right. So we already went over what a few of our prefixes are. All right. So now let us go to our test. Here we need to say the words with pre, right? Remember, pre means before. It says, why might football teams want to play preseason games? It says, why might football teams want to play preseason games? Pre-season. What is pre-season? There we have the word pre in season. It says, is it to get option one, to get some practice ahead of the upcoming season? Or is it option two, to get some practice during the current season? All right. And why might football teams want to play preseason games? All right. And if they want to play preseason games, let's go with option one. And that is basically to get practice ahead of the upcoming season. Yes. So it's almost like they are practicing before the next season of the game. Why or when would you preheat, or when would you preheat an oven? Preheat. So the word preheat, is it option one, right when you're ready to use it? So when do you preheat an oven? Is it option one, right when you're ready to use it? Or option two, a few minutes before you are ready to use it? So when would you preheat an oven? And we would preheat our oven a few minutes before you are ready to use it. Remember, we said that, let's say, for example, you have a word like preheat, then you need to, while you're so busy preparing whatever, then you preheat the oven so long. So preheat, we would say a few minutes before you're ready to use it. All right, so well done, option two. So when would a group of people pre-screen a movie? Pre-screen a movie. Is it option one, after the film is released to the public, or option two, before the film is released to the public? Pre-screen. And when somebody or something or group of people pre-screen a movie, if they pre-screen a movie, then yes, we would say it is before the film is released to the public. And when we, for example, remember when you pre something, right? It means before. All right, so now we're going into words with re. And remember, we said words with re, it means again. It means again. So we already did words with pre, which means before. Now we're doing words with a re, which means again. All right, and remember we said re means again. So now it says, why would you be more likely to refold something? Refold something. When will you refold something again? Is it a perfectly folded sheet you would refold again, or a crumbled napkin? And if we were to refold something, then we would say a crumpled napkin is something that you would have to refold again, because the word "n" means sorry, means again. Now the next one says, why might you repack a suitcase? So why might you repack a suitcase? Is it option one, because it won't close, or option two, because it closes easily? Why might you repack? All right. And we said, why might you repack a suitcase? And then we can say it's option one, because it won't close. All right. Which needs to be rearranged? Remember when it comes to, we said the word re means again. So now it says which needs to be rearranged. It's like you need to arrange something. And something that needs to be rearranged, is it a tidy stack of papers, option one, or a messy pile of papers, option two? And if we were to rearrange something, rearrange, then we can even say yes, option two, because we can rearrange a messy pile of papers. Who needs a reminder to return his library books? Who needs a reminder to return his library books? So, return, the word return. Is it option one, a person who usually remembers? Is it a person who usually remembers, or a person who actually forgets? Re- return. And who needs a reminder to return? Then we can say it's a person, option two, who usually forgets. Like, yeah, I forgot that I need to take in this book, or I need to return that book, right? All right. And remember, when it comes to prefixes, prefixes are words that can are basically words that is added to the beginning of a root word. And we can, when it comes to prefixes, remember we said it's words that we add at the beginning of a base word. We went over pre, which is before. We went over re, which means again. And also we went over sub, that means below, or it means under or less than. All right, but this is now the end of our lesson on prefixes. Once again, prefixes are words that is added at the beginning, or to the beginning of a base word. And then basically we then create a new word. We said the words pre means before, the words re means again, and the word sub means either below, or it means under or less than. All right, so this is now the end of our lesson. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. And I really hope you're going to have a good day further. So, until next time, goodbye.